up in your captivity. Haven't I sent my son to free you mentally? Haven't I showed you the gods of your enemies? Haven't I gave you a heart that you remember me? Haven't I help you understand your pain? Haven't I didn't I give you back your name? Haven't I showed you everything is vain? Haven't I a narrow path is the way? His word don't come by void. An everlasting covenant he made we can't avoid. We still see that rainbow in the sky, cause this is story. The almighty power, but y'all give him glory. Babylon is falling right before you. Haven't I? Hosea 1:10, y'all we roll you. Haven't I? The valley of the dry done came alive. Haven't I? Hosea 6:2, we been revived. Haven't I?
Shalom to all the Jews and Gentiles alike, sending a strong shalom to the children of light. Namaste to all. Y'all already know what the deal is. We're going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, our power. To 𝐭𝐴𝐤𝐬 Wakanda, the Great Spirits, 𝐻𝐿𝐬 𝐔𝐬𝐝, the Supreme Consciousness. Acknowledgement to the Earthly Mother. And of course, acknowledgement to our elder brother, Yahushua HaMashiach, Yahweh Mata the Lamb, 𝐯𝐢𝐴𝐤𝐬, Yesiah the Messiah, Yahusha the Lion from the tribe of Yehuda, the one the world calls Jesus Christ. So today, brethren, we're going to be getting into the Kolbrin Bible today, and we're going to be looking at what is true worship. Because when you get to the understanding that you are a drop of the Supreme, you are a drop of the Most High, what is true worship? Okay, everybody get that today in the Kolbrin Bible. All right, so let's hop right into it, shall we? Let's go to the book of Gleanings, chapter 15, verse 9. I am better served by obedience to my laws and conformity with my plans than by ritual and offerings. To listen to the words of the sacred writings while striving to understand them is better in my sight than offerings of flesh and treasure, which benefit the priests more than they do me. Pause. Let's peep that real quick. It says to listen to the words of the sacred writings while striving to overstand them. Right? Worship is not you being in some church and hollering and screaming and doing this and doing that, and, you know. Anyways, let's continue. Okay. Among the things which I abhor, few or more detestable than the hypocritical offerings of the evildoer. The offerings and worship of a hypocrite are an abomination to me. Evil enters the realm beyond earth as a foul smell, and the worst one of all is the smell of hypocrisy. Those who pander to hypocrites or do not actively oppose them are also creatures of evil. Let's go down to verse 12. Real and sincere worship is to obey my laws and to shoulder the responsibilities of men, to steadfastly conform to my plan and to live in neighborly harmony. He who devotes his life to me also devotes it to his own welfare. He who serves me well likewise serves himself. This is the law of laws. For the whole purpose of life is not the service of God, the Most High, but the development of the soul of man. He who worships me with empty ritual and vain ceremonial, but neglects the well-being of his own soul, does not serve me well, for he thwarts my purpose. Wait a second, pause. So the development of your soul is what's serving the Most High, because you are a drop of the Most High, which means you cannot stay stuck in 66 books only, because you are just limiting your understanding. You are being stuck spiritually just by having the mindset of, oh well, I don't gotta read that book and to read this book and get into these other writings and other books. See, you hurting yourself spiritually. I have endowed the creature made in my likeness with religious instinct, for this springs from its everlasting spirits, as fire generates heat. Therefore, to worship is not unnatural, but blind worship lacks the vitalizing elements. It defeats its own end. For in true worship, man should reach out beyond himself to discover his own soul. Then, having done so, he should develop it until the soul aspires to godhood itself. Oh, let's get a precept. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 82, verse 6. I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High. Let's go back to the book of Gleanings. Let's go to verse 24. I shall seek the man who is himself ever seeking, who seeks to unravel the riddle of life, one whose determination is strong, who detests wickedness and delights in the good, whose heart and inner vision reach out for enlightenment. His tranquility will remain unshaken under stress, and within his heart will be a haven of peace beyond the reach of excitement and anger. He will be a lover of wisdom and seeker of truth. He who is wise, he who knows what to do, who remains calm when others lose their self-control. He who is clear-headed under stress, who enjoys the challenge of the task. That man is mine. He who labors uncomplainingly, who disdains to satisfy the forming lusts, whose spirit remains the same under the temptations of honors or the pressure of disgrace. He who is free from the shackles of unworthy earthly attachments, who retains his balance under praise or blame, who can shoulder his own burdens, whose spirit is calm, silent, and strong under all circumstances. He who can bear the responsibilities of life and the obligations of love. That man is mine. I am the God of inspiration. I am the God of love. Now that is something to strive for. Trying to unravel the riddle of life. Trying to figure out who you are, why you are here, what you have to do here, okay? Because knowledge of self is knowledge of the Most High, because you are a drop of the Supreme. Because staying in 66 books only, staying in this camp, staying in Islam, staying in Christianity, okay, staying in the mindset that I don't have to go and read anything or trying to expand my consciousness is not doing anything for you. You are not unraveling the riddle of life just by reading one book or staying stuck in one religion. The religions are just keeping you stuck. And I've done a video on this already before, Okay, and here we are again. All right, back to the same point. Now let's get a quick little precept from the Third Testament. This is the Book of True Life, chapter 36, verse 53. The development of human intelligence will never be complete until it happens on the spiritual plane. See how great the backwardness of your spirit is, because you have consecrated your knowledge to the earthly life. Man is a slave to the will of others, a victim of anathema, condemnations, and threats. And what has he achieved with this? The abandonment of all his yearnings to understand and achieve the highest knowledge that man must have, preventing himself from being able to achieve the clarification of what he has absurdly always supposed to be a mystery, the spiritual life. Modern day Christianity thinks, oh, when you get to heaven, that's it, that's where the understanding just stops. I mean, they already think the understanding has already stopped because they only stay stuck within 66 books. These churches and these religions, they basically bank on the fact that you stay complacent in your walk, right? They don't want you to learn anymore. They want you to stay right there, wherever you at, to stay right there. Now, it's good for someone that's, trying to get into this thing, right? Trying to get some truth, but it's like, the issue is you're complacent. You're stuck. The elevation of the soul has stopped. Now let's go back to the book of Gleanings. Let's go down to verse 46. Man is the heir to divinity, and the road to divinity is spirituality. Man cannot become spiritual except through his own efforts and striving. He cannot achieve it by being led by the hand or through fear of punishment, nor by greed through anticipation of a reward. He who enters into his heritage of divinity will be no weakling. He will have trodden a hard and stony path. Man has two ways of knowing me. He can know me through his own spiritual awakening, or through the continued revelation of moral law and divine purpose by my inspired servants. To know me through a spiritually awakened self is the way of certainty, but few can suffer its austerities and disciplines. When the spirit of man is unawakened, he cannot know the great self within him, of which he is a part, not knowing his true nature, and unable to see clearly. He is blinded by material delusions. Would not the creatures of the night, which never see the sun, deem the moon to be the most brilliant light in the sky above? So it is with the man walking in the darkness of spiritual unconsciousness. He says, I am the body, and the body is my whole being. Right? That's how people walk around nowadays. That's what they really thinking, that they just this body and that's it, and this life and how the way you perceive this life is all there is, and there's pretty much nothing after this. And in the delusion of that belief, he becomes ensnared in an existence bound to matter, like the creatures bound to an existence in the night, which cannot know the glories of things flourishing in the brilliance of daylight. So it is with men bound to the darkness of spiritual ignorance. As a shadow in the night is mistaken for an intruder, or a mirage is mistaken for a pool of clear water, so does the spiritually immature man mistake the material body for the whole living being. As the shimmering heat haze appears like solid water, so does the outer body appear as the whole being to the spiritually unawakened. As to a man in a moving boat, another boat lying still on the water will often appear to be moving, while he himself seems to remain still. So the unawakened spirit is deluded by appearances, seeing the mortal body as a whole being, when in fact the clouds are flying overhead. It appears as though the moon itself is speeding across the heavens. It is only the knowledge and experience we have of the skies above, which tell us this cannot be the truth. Thus, it is with the spiritually unawakened man who, in his ignorance, thinks the mortal body is the whole being, and having no knowledge or experience of the spiritual region is deceived. In fact, all the beliefs of man, which hold that the mortal body is the whole being, are generated in the darkness of ignorance. A man may be wise in the ways of men, but completely ignorant and unaware of the higher, more glorious things which are revealed in the lights of the spirits. The man held in bondage to delusion says, if there be another body, a part of me of which I am unaware, it cannot be real, neither can I know it. My eyes are infallible guides, seeing things just as they are, and any feelings I may experience have their origin within my mortal being. I am the child of my body. This man is deluded like the creatures of the night, or as the man who sees a mirage. Are the eyes which sees mirages totally reliable? Motes swimming in the sunbeam are unsubstantial things, yet things such as these are the bricks of man's body, the eyes making them appear solid and substantial, the unreal for the real, his mortal body for his whole self. The deluded man ignores the spiritual part of his being and its needs. He cherishes the mortal body, gratifying its desires with earthly pleasures. Like the silkworm, he becomes captive in a cocoon of his own making. The man who lavishes undue care on the mortal body displays his own spiritual ignorance and inadequacy. To be free from existence in the darkness of ignorance, to know the glory of life in the light of spiritual consciousness, a man must first awaken his spirit. In this way alone can he become aware of his true nature. And see, a lot of people, they like going to the club and they like having fun when they're not really having fun. I mean, you just going and just operating in your lower nature, right? And they don't realize that puts a toll on their spirit, right? You got the brothers that be going out here on these street corners and they be interviewing these chicks, and they be like, oh, what's your body count? Or they be asking, what do you think if a man comes up to you and says, what's your body count? And they be getting defensive. They be getting riled up. But they don't realize that all that sleeping around and all that fornication, that affects you. That affects your spirit. But they don't care. They don't see that. They just see the flesh. They just see the carnality in it. They don't understand and overstand the spiritual aspect. They don't see what's going on in the spiritual realm when they have slept with all of these dudes. And the same thing applies to the men too. You cannot just be out here just giving your seed away to multiple women. Like, nah. Like, you crazy, bruh. You crazy. Let me get back to it. Verse 51. Ask yourselves, what am I? What is real within myself? What comprises the whole man? And it be that I am truly no more than this fleshy thing, the petty, immature, unstable being, balanced between futile, unearthly ideals and carnal cruelty and lust? Or am I something greater, which is undiscoverable by mortal senses? Am I really akin to something divine and glorious, from which source alone could have come to ideals and virtues which transcend the mundane needs of earthly existence? Ask yourselves in the solitudes, and perchance you will not go unanswered. I am the God of silences. The words of men are inadequate to express just what man really is. The knowledge of his true nature is beyond the understanding of the awakened spirits. The inheritance within the grasp of man is without limitation, for it is the totality of all things. Man has not been misled in the hope and belief that the seemingly mortal is in fact immortal. The spirit does not mislead men. They are deceived by their own eyes. They are misled, so they are unable to see things as they are in reality. All that men see and experience throughout earthly existence is veiled in illusion. Man may think his eyes reveal things as they are, but no mortal eye has ever beheld a thing as it actually is. It appears to man through the colored, distorting glass of his own mortality. Spiritually, man as a whole are little different from the madman who builds himself a kingdom from the fabric of his imagination. The flowing life existence about him is seen as a distorted image, a distortion, which his own defects have imparted to it. Yet it was meant to be thus, for man is surrounded by the conditions meet for him. It is for man to discover why this is so, and in discovering he will find himself. I am the truth. I am the reality. So the elevation of the soul, knowing your true nature, is worshiping the Most High. It is servitude to the Most High. Now let me get a little last precept here. We're going to go in the Bible real quick. This is the book of John, chapter 4 and verse 24. God is a spirit, the Most High is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. See, staying stuck in 66 books is not worshiping in truth. It is really detrimental to you if you want to stay stuck with 66 books or staying stuck in religion. But hey, not all people are ready to ascend at this time. Everyone has their time to be truly awakened. But that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you learned something new. You got something out of it. You ate good. And I say shalom and stay strong.